The autumn leaves crunched underfoot in the serene Willowbrook Park, a hidden gem in the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. It was a crisp Saturday morning, the kind where the air smelled of fresh earth and distant coffee. Birds chirped eagerly as a black man in his late 60s scattered seeds from a small bag, his face lit with a quiet smile. He was dressed simply: khaki pants, a faded flannel shirt, and a baseball cap embroidered with a police badge insignia, subtle but meaningful. This was retired Chief Elias Grant, a 35-year veteran of the Philadelphia PD, holder of 3 commendations for bravery, and the architect of community policing reforms that saved countless lives. At 68, he had traded his uniform for birdwatching, finding peace in the flutter of wings after decades of chaos. Elias had moved here for retirement, drawn by the park's tranquility. He fed the birds every weekend, a ritual that grounded him. But today that peace shattered. From across the green, Officer Kyle Brennan, 28, white with a chip on his shoulder the size of his ego, patrolled on foot. Brennan had been on the force for 5 years, racking up complaints for aggressive stops but always skating by on gut instincts. He spotted Elias alone, black, in a nice park, and his biases kicked in. "What's he doing here? Probably dealing or scouting," Brennan muttered to himself, ignoring the families picnicking nearby. Brennan approached with a strut, hand on his hip near his Glock. "Hey, you, what are you doing loitering around here?" His voice boomed, drawing stares from joggers and dog walkers. Elias turned slowly, hands visible, scattering the last seeds. "Good morning, officer, just feeding the birds. No harm in that." Brennan's eyes narrowed. "Feeding birds at your age? Show me some ID now." Elias complied, pulling out his wallet carefully. "Here you go, name's Elias Grant." Brennan snatched the ID, glancing at it dismissively. "Grant, huh? This park has rules against vagrancy. You look suspicious. Hands behind your back, I'm detaining you." Elias raised an eyebrow. "On what grounds? I'm a resident here. This is public property." Brennan laughed, a harsh sound. "Grounds? You're black in a white neighborhood park. That's enough for me. Turn around." He grabbed Elias' arm roughly, spinning him and slapping on cuffs, too tight, digging into the skin. Elias winced but stayed calm. "Officer Brennan, your name tag, this is unnecessary. I advise you to check my background before this escalates." "Escalates? You're the one escalating by resisting." Brennan shoved him toward the squad car parked nearby. Bystanders pulled out phones, recording the scene. One woman whispered, "That's not right, he's just an old man." At the Willowbrook station, Brennan paraded Elias through the lobby like a trophy. "Got a loiterer from the park, mouthy one." He pushed him into an interrogation room, ignoring protocol. Elias sat quietly, cuffs still on, mind racing through his training. De-escalate, document mentally, wait for the reveal. Sergeant Lena Vasquez, a sharp-eyed Latina in her 40s, glanced up from her desk. Something about the detainee nagged at her. She pulled up the ID scan on her computer and her face paled. "Wait, Elias Grant, the Elias Grant." She burst into the room. "Uncuff him now." Brennan smirked. "Why, he's a suspect." Vasquez glared. "Because he's retired Chief Elias Grant from Philly PD. Led the force through the 90s riots, reformed anti-gang units. He's a legend, you idiot." Brennan's smirk vanished. The room went silent. Chief Harlan Brooks stormed in minutes later, summoned by Vasquez. A burly man with a mustache, Brooks had met Elias at a national conference years ago. "What the hell is this, Brennan? You detained Chief Grant for feeding birds." Elias stood, rubbing his wrists. "Not just detained, Chief. Profiled, assaulted, and denied rights. No Miranda, no probable cause. Your officer here needs a lesson in bias training." Brooks turned red. "Brennan, badge and gun, you're suspended, pending investigation." Brennan stammered, but he looked suspicious. Elias met his eyes. "Suspicious, or just black? I've worn the badge longer than you've been alive. This isn't policing, it's prejudice." The incident didn't end there. Word spread fast, videos from bystanders hit social media. Hashtags like park profiling trended. But Brennan, seething with humiliation, didn't let it go. That night, Elias returned to his modest ranch home to find his classic Ford pickup with slashed tires and go-back spray painted on the door. He sighed, called it in, but the responding officers, Brennan's buddies, dismissed it as kids' prank. 2 days later, during a routine drive, Elias was pulled over by Officer Dale Hargrove, Brennan's patrol partner. Hargrove circled the truck, accidentally smashing a tail light with his baton caught on Elias' dashcam. "Broken light, that's a ticket, step out." Elias complied, calm as ever. "Officer, that's vandalism, on camera." Hargrove grinned. "Camera, what camera? Hands up." Elias' daughter, Dr. Naomi Grant, a civil rights attorney in her 40s, arrived like a storm. She'd flown in after the park incident. Naomi reviewed the footage, filed complaints, and prepared a federal lawsuit under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 for civil rights violations. At a heated town hall meeting that week, Naomi stood before the council, projector beaming the dashcam video. "This is not isolated. Officer Brennan profiled my father, a decorated chief, based on race. Then harassment, vandalism, planted damage. We have affidavits from witnesses, including Sergeant Vasquez, on overheard slurs like 'those people invading our parks.' We're suing the department for $5 million unless reforms happen now." The room erupted. Chief Brooks, sweating under the lights, announced immediate actions. Brennan and Hargrove terminated, mandatory bias training for all, and a community oversight board. But Brennan's rage boiled over. 3 nights later, during a thunderstorm, he donned a black hoodie and tactical gear, armed with his off-duty AR-15. Drunk on whiskey and resentment, he smashed Elias' back window, creeping inside. Lightning flashed as he navigated the dark living room, muttering, "You'll pay for ruining me." Elias, a light sleeper from years on the job, heard the glass. He grabbed his old service revolver from the nightstand, a .357 Magnum, and moved silently downstairs. In the hallway, he confronted Brennan. "Drop it, son. This ends now." Brennan spun, rifle raised. You're the reason I'm finished." A shot rang out. Brennan fired wide, shattering a vase. Elias returned fire, hitting Brennan's leg, dropping him. "I said drop it." Elias kicked the rifle away, zip-tied Brennan's hands with cords from a drawer, and called 911. "Intruder down, send paramedics." Brennan writhed on the floor. "You shot me, I'll sue." Elias knelt, applying pressure to the wound. "Self-defense, home invasion, you're lucky it's not fatal." The trial was a spectacle. In the Cleveland courthouse, Naomi, prosecuted as special counsel, cross-examining Brennan. "You targeted my father because of his race. Evidence: slurs in reports, the park stop without cause, the vandalism traced to your IP via security cams." Brennan, pale and bandaged, snapped. He didn't belong there. Naomi played audio from Vasquez's hidden recorder, Brennan ranting about invaders. The jury gasped. Witnesses piled on park-goers, former colleagues exposing a pattern of abuse. The verdict: guilty on attempted murder, burglary, civil rights conspiracy. Sentence: 20 years, no parole for 12. Hargrove got 5 for accessory. In prison, Brennan faced his own hell. Isolated in protective custody, he was attacked in the yard, shanked by an inmate he'd once arrested. Paralyzed from the waist down, he spent days in a wheelchair, staring at walls, regretting the badge he'd abused. Elias, meanwhile, used the settlement $2 million after fees to fund the Kyle Brennan Center for Police Reform in Cleveland's inner city. It offered training, youth programs, and scholarships for minority officers. Irony stung. Brennan's seized assets helped build it. At the center's opening, Elias addressed the crowd. "This isn't about revenge. It's about change. I wore the badge to protect, not persecute. Let's ensure no one else suffers from blind hate." Naomi hugged him. "You turned pain into purpose, Dad." As birds flew overhead, Elias scattered seeds on the new grounds. Peace returned, not just for him, but for a community healing one wingbeat at a time. Justice isn't always swift or loud. Sometimes it whispers through the trees, reminding us that assumptions can cage us all, but truth sets us free.